was it was an interesting environment, and I thought the crowd was into it, and I thought our players responded well to a little bit different type of setup. We didn't particularly play really well at times. Played hard the whole game, which is good. Made a few key mistakes with some penalties and allowed some drives to continue, and then offensively was sharp in the first half, and in the second half not as much, and then at the end of the game, we were just running the clock out just to try to get the win and get out. And defensively, again, the guys are playing hard, but we didn't play as sound as we could have. We let a few things go and got to get a few things cleaned up. And you got to give them some credit. They had some really good skilled players, and they played hard. But it was a good win, and now we got to get better because the team we're playing this weekend is next to Tulsa, probably the most athletic team we've played this year. They've averaged over 36 points a game I think, for the last 4 years. So got great skilled players. So it's going to be a bigger challenge from that standpoint. It's homecoming, which doesn't affect us too much, as far as our schedule goes, other than the fact it's going to be a lot of people coming in town, and we got to minimize the distractions and be ready to play a game. Well, it always starts, even with a spread, you want to be able to be balanced, but you don't want to have to force the balance. And if you can, I've always said, if you can run the football, you can control the tempo of the game, and really in both aspects, offensively and defensively. And so it always starts with that, with us with the running game. And we were in the same play the last 16 plays of the game uh, Saturday, and then over 40 some of the 70 some plays was the same play. It might have been out of a different formation and with different tempos, but it wasn't no secret what we were doing. And that to me is, do you have a tendency? Yeah, well, you hope we have 10. If you're good at something, you want to have tendencies at it. But we gotta have, ultimately, we've got to have more variety, and we do, and we practice it. But it's good when you can run the game out like that and run the same play and get positive yards and get skip points. That's a good thing. And we preach the physicality part of it and the tempo part of it, which I think helps the run game. And we got to get bigger up front and all that. But for the first year, at least they've gotten a Coach Trickett and the coaches have done a good job of teaching our guys the base of what we're doing. But they'll get better each year, I think. Yeah, all the running backs they run really hard. Coach McDowell's done a great job with them, and the other part of our running game is we're going to play with 11, and not maybe run the quarterback a bunch of times, but the threat of it's always going to be there. So anytime we have any run, most of the time the quarterback is involved either in that particular play or he's reading something, and so I call it playing with 11, and we like doing that. That's a good question. I've been asked that because I've had a lot of vertically challenged running backs, but God, they're all, even the ones that are a little bit shorter are all physical. I think J.J. Taylor's one of the best ones I had at Arizona, and he's in the NFL now. And he wasn't a tall guy, but he was strong and he's quick. And so you don't have to be the tallest guy and still have some strength. And the good thing about our backs is they make you tackle. They don't go down easy. They fight for extra yards, and they got to, again, they're still learning, some of the nuances of each play and where to press the block or the press the play and all that kind of stuff. But we got 4 and maybe even 5 right now on the roster that are I think pretty good, and it's probably easy for us to recruit that too because we've had a lot of success with running backs getting 1,000 yards over the years. So now it's just getting separate, spread out, but four guys. But that's a good group. Not always, typically, but I've always at least used 2 and sometimes 3. And we'll use 2 at the same time. But it's a good part is there's competition there. The guys know that, and we'll roll. We got confident with all 4 of the guys that have been playing. to put them in at any time with every play that we have. So it's not like this guy runs this play and this guy runs that play. All the guys that are playing can run all the plays that we're running.
You kind of mentioned in Karajic's statement, you said you'd like to see a little more variety out of your offense. What does the team need to do for you to feel comfortable incorporating those plays?
It's pretty simple. You only can run what you can execute. And I've said this 1,000 times. It's not what you call; it's what you can execute. And we can execute more, but having the confidence to do it in a game is another thing. And plus, if you don't have to, it's like the end of the last game. If we ran the same play the last 16 times of the game, but that was killing the clock and getting first down. So if we don't have to do variety just for the sake of do variety. You know what I mean? And so it's like somebody say, well, you have an overwhelming tendency to run this play out of this formation. Well, that's a good thing if you have a tendency, because you're not going to run it if you're not having success, right? So, but they could do things to outnumber you and force you to do something else. And that's when you have to have the ability to execute the answer to the problem. And that's ongoing, but I do think we have the ability to execute the answer to the problem. And we're going to have to show it going forward. 150. I could bring the call sheet as 100. I mean, it's like, wow, look at it. It's like an NFL call sheet. And we use like 10 of them. So, there's a lot of wasted ink on that deal. And we rep all the, we don't rep all 150 during the week. We rep a lot of them. So, we're still, like I said, I got to keep reminding ourselves, this is still the first year in the system. As our guys grow up in the system, and they become year 2 or year 3 in it, you're able to do more because they understand why. I want our players, when the play is called, this is why we're running it. Not only how we're running it, but this is why we're running it, and that's a process.
Can you give us an update on Zion?
Yeah, he's got a sore foot. We x-rayed it, MRI'd it. It's nothing's broke, which is good. No muscles are torn, which is good. But sometimes a bone bruise can linger and be very painful. So we'll limit him in practice today, limit him in practice tomorrow, see how what he can do Thursday and Friday. And so it'll be more reps for Alen and more reps for Tayshawn during this week, and we'll see what happens during game day.
Can you assess how Alen played on Saturday, although he did an awful lot of handing off?
Yeah, he did. It was mostly handing off, right? And but he's, one good thing about Alen is he's so engaged in what we're doing. Whether he's in there or he's watching from the sidelines and during the week. I mean, he puts a lot of work in preparation and really wants to learn everything. That's why I'm so excited about him going forward, because he's going to keep learning, and he's got a lot of ability. It's a different skill set probably from Zion, who's got a different skill set from Tayshawn, but Alen can make all the throws. He's a big, strong guy. He's a willing runner. He's not as fast as maybe Zion or Tayshawn, but he's a willing runner, and he can get some yards. So I thought he was very composed and did what we asked him to do on Saturday, and we'll have more on his plate this week.
Coach, you mentioned Trendy and these guys are getting better and better, and this is the first year of the system. At this point in the season, in the back of my mind, hearing these guys say, play with a hard edge, play with a hard edge. How do you feel about the idea of this?
Yeah, that's the hard edge part is a certain mentality that that you like to think everybody does all the time, like every college player, every pro player, every high school player, whatever it is, always plays with the same type of intensity and focus on every snap. But that doesn't happen. And I do think you can separate yourself as a program when your guys understand that that's part of our core beliefs. I mean, I think you can have almost too many slogans or too many things that you know what I mean? And we kind of simplify it. We talk about having a hard edge and earn success. And all the other stuff is good too, but that's kind of what we kind of focus on. And what that means is, not only do we have to play each and every snap with that kind of edge and intensity, but we got to practice with it. And for us in our program, we try to separate ourselves from someone else by the way not only do we play in the games, but how we practice and prepare. particularly with that edge. And that doesn't mean being, stupid and having cheap shots or nothing like that. It means playing with the type of intensity that every play is the most important play of your life. I know that's kind of going over the top, but that's the way I see it. Yeah, I don't talk about myself. It's kind of like in the first person, whatever. But I do. I've told the coaches, and that like sometimes when I go off and practice, it's because every play has always been like it's the play of the year for me, even in practice. I've always been that way, and I think it's helped me. Sometimes I would like to calm myself down and say, well, it's just like play 2 in period 6 of a Tuesday practice. What's the big deal? But I've never been able to diminish or lessen the importance of every play. So why try now? Too late. 30 years into it. So I got to live with it. They get poor coaches and players got to live with it, and so do I, and my family is as well. But I feel better. I sleep better at night knowing that I kind of gave it everything on every play in practice than if I didn't. Oh, he's been phenomenal. He's the one he missed, the 50-yarder. He kicked the heck out of it, just barely missed it. But not only that, but his kickoffs, that end zone was only 8.5 yards, so I told him to aim for the wall, not for the goal line. But he's been a phenomenal weapon. We get to the 35-yard line, we feel good, and that's which is about amazing. I was telling the coaches the other day, if you watch those NFL kickers are just phenomenal, aren't they? You get to the 40-yard line now, and it's like 57-yarders or nothing. Those guys are unreal how good they are in their craft. And like the guy from Baltimore, Justin Tucker, is that his name? Yeah. Probably the best that's ever played, right? Best kicker. And he was saying how he focuses when he kicks on the little dimples in a football. He has one particular dimple that he hits with his kicking foot, his toe. He's going to hit that dimple every time when he kicks it. And that's how narrow his focus is. It's that aim small, miss small kind of saying. Well, that's what he aims on, that little dimple on that football with his kicking toe every time. And that's why he's made 25 out of 26 game winners in the fourth quarter or something. That kind of focus and intensity. Well, if you watch the NFL kickers, just about every team has one of those guys. AK and Brenton, both of our guys have that same kind of focus and attitude as far as getting their craft better, and it's just phenomenal to me to watch those specialists perform. I'm giving a shout out to Pat McAfee. He's always been my buddy, my guy that played for me, and specialists have probably always been overlooked, and Pat's changed that narrative now, for the brand, whatever. So he's changed the narrative now. People are realizing the importance of specialists, right? You look in the NFL, how many games are decided by one score or less, and a lot of times it's the kicker making the winning kick like the kid did last night.
When you have a guy that's kicking this well, does it influence some of the play calling?
Sure, particularly like the end of the game, like you're going up, or you're going up. You're already up. You could be up 2 scores, but you could be up 2 scores, which 2 touchdown scores instead of a touchdown and a field goal. But it does make a little bit of influence. I said we know we got 3, so let's not make a huge mistake here. Let's make sure we at least get 3 points. And you can't kick all field goals and win games against teams. We can't kick all field goals and beat Southeast Louisiana. I can tell you that. But at the same time, if it's 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, and you're not as confident getting the play, but you can get 3 points, you're gonna get the 3 points. And that was my thought process in the last game.
It's clear you have a lot of respect for the offense you're about to face. What have you seen from them that your defense is going to need to focus on to have success?
Well, we got to do a better job of keeping contained when their number 5 is in the game. We've got to do a better job of getting off blocks, recognizing things. They do a lot of stuff offensively. I'm talking scheme-wise, and keep you on your toes. And we have to have great eye discipline. I don't think our eye discipline was as good as it needed to be in the game on Saturday. So we got to have better eye discipline this weekend. Make sure we're keeping contained. We're focusing on what we're supposed to be doing and not giving up. We've given up some big plays where we've had 9, 10 guys in the right spot and one guy not, and that's the thing we got to get fixed. different, really, and a lot of unlike us, where we'll run the same plays with all the guys. They'll run different plays with different quarterbacks, and they do enough variety with both that you can't just key on one thing. But they'll play them equally, and they both provide a different set of challenges. The reason he's probably doing that is because he's always around the ball. He's been one of our most consistent players, period, on offense or defense or special teams. And, when you talk about playing with a hard edge and playing focused, every day, Tay's success on game day is a reflection of what he does during the week. Every day he's all about ball, all about focusing, getting everybody lined up. And when you play like that and it's important to you, which it is, you're going to have success. And he's having a phenomenal year. Yeah, Frank and I, Coach Selfa and I go way back. We were together at first met him when we were together at Tulane. He's a Louisiana native, and we had 2 good years at Tulane as assistant coaches under Tommy Bowden. The second year was undefeated. And then when his brother got the job, he stayed on there, and we've kind of kept in touch and crossed paths all the time. I have great respect for him. In the state of Louisiana, everybody knows him. He's done a great job recruiting there. He's done a great job at Southeast, and is a really good football coach.
I thought it was a great team win. It was cool getting to play on that baseball stadium. I think everyone did their job, and we came out and won, so it was great. Really badly on kickoffs. That's what I was trying to do. I think one got kind of close, but it hit the wall. But yeah, I was going for that.
Kicked 4 field goals, but the one you missed, it looked good, but did it feel good coming off your foot?
It did. It felt pretty good. I kind of had a little draw going that game, so I knew it was going to draw. I should have aimed a little bit more right, but it started kind of left middle of the upright, and then it just drawed right out, and it was close.
Do you feel like you kind of get a feel for that, like maybe how the kicks are coming off your foot is not always the same? Like you said, that draw, it sounds like you kind of knew my kicks are drawing a little more than normal.
Yeah, like before the game, I could kind of tell I had a little draw. Some games before the game, I have a fade going on, or some games I'm dead straight. But yeah, before the game, I could tell I had a little draw. Yes. I don't take my eyes off the ball until I'm completely done with the kick, and yeah, I try to find a little piece of where it's like laced on the ball and just look at that.
Did you catch any of the game last night? The kicker kind of was the story of the game.
I didn't watch it. No. It's definitely really hard. Yes.
Have you ever had to, I don't know, kick through something where you're maybe not 100%?
Yes. Freshman year in 2020, I had to wear something for my hip and my groin. I couldn't really kick off for 2 out of the 4 games. And yeah, it hurt a lot, so it's not fun doing that.
Did you have to adjust kind of how you were kicking? Did you have to kick a little different?
Yes. I couldn't go really 100%. I had to kick a lot lighter. Yes.
So, what did you have to do?
I just couldn't really like fully swing. It was just like a lighter swing.
Alen, for only 4 home games, can you just talk about the excitement of getting to play at home with so few games on schedule?
Yeah, it's awesome. We love playing at home every time. We have a great crowd. It's our field. We really like it, and yeah, we love playing at home.
I think you had at least one, maybe a couple kicking records for the school. I don't know. Were you aware of that, and what does that mean to you to kind of have your name on it?
I was not aware of it, no, until Coach said something. But it feels awesome. It feels awesome to know I have a great operation with me, and that we've been pretty consistent this year. So yeah, it feels great.
Well, the game Saturday, it started off fast. We were going really great on offense. Defense, we were holding them out. And about midway through, defense, we kind of slacked up a little bit. having a few mental errors, a few people out of position. They got a few scores. A really good team. They compete very well. But we got a good win at the end, so that was good. Coming home this Saturday, it'll be homecoming. It's always good to be back home in front of our crowd and just playing ball on our home turf.
Been here for a while now. Is homecoming a little more special for you than being this last one?
Yeah, I mean, every single one of these games are very special, with it being my last season, being my senior season. And homecoming, it's very special because we have just all old and new Jacksonville State alumni and current students just going to come out support. We're going to have a great crowd. For our past few home games that we've had a great crowd, and it's just really fun playing in front of the people who are behind us. Really, I have some great teammates who can get the ball out, and on my part, it's just relentless effort to the ball. Um, Coach Alley, he do a great job preaching, like having relentless effort to the ball, and doing that, the ball pops out, just fall in my lap.
What goes through your head when you see the ball around?
Well, the first few times it's just like fall on it, but after I've seen it a couple times, now it's like scoop and score.
Is it maybe easier to kind of slow down and take your time and maybe think about picking it up, whereas maybe the first time maybe you're just nervous and like, man, I just want to fall on it.
See, the first times it's just like fall on it, and it was easy. But this past time was like scoop and score, and I was in a hurry, so I kind of missed it. But I ended up picking it up. But I just got to slow down, look at it, and grab it with two hands. I try to grab it with one. I see they have one thing they do is a lot of formations, so we got to be disciplined with our eyes. Have a really good quarterback and have some really good skill guys. They look like they like to compete, but we're gonna go in, work today, work this week, take it a day at a time, and by Saturday we'll be ready.
What will you have to, you talked about how the defense needs to have good eye discipline. If you're having good eye discipline, what is the big thing you're going to do?
Really, I mean the same thing, having good eye discipline and just relentless effort to the ball. Because at the end of the day, after you do your job, it's all about getting to the ball, staying unblocked. People who are unblocked make the most plays. So, big focus on staying unblocked and having relentless effort to the ball.
I know there's a lot of different plays, so it's not even that question. Is there a normal thing that you're looking at first to figure out, when you see them line up, how do you kind of figure out what you need to do?
Well, the first thing I start by, before Coach Alley gives them the play, I look at the formation they're in. Coach Alley giving the play, and from his play call and me going through film study with him, I'm knowing what he's looking for them to run. And from then, make like a little communication, key, guard, through the backfield, and just go from there. You have number 5, the starting quarterback. I think he got banged up a little earlier on in the season. He's pretty good. I'm kind of looking for him to come back since he had a bye week this previous week. And the second quarterback, he's pretty good too. He's good in the pocket. He can throw the ball a little bit and can make some plays.
When you have a team that is going to use different guys, and maybe guys who have different skill sets, is that one of the first things as a defense y'all need to do is identify, okay, which quarterback do they have next?
Yeah, that's one thing we look at, but really we just got to play our defense. We can't beat ourselves. Like, as long as we playing sound defense, then we'll be fine.
Played in a lot of big games for this team, played even at some bigger you win. What have you noticed with this new coaching staff that's different? Not necessarily better or worse, but what are some of the things that are different about this team from some of the other teams?
One of the biggest differences is discipline. One of the big things that they focus on is everyone being in uniform, everyone being the same, everyone having the same discipline. The standard that we have set for the team is really high, and we keep on, like, week after week, we try to get it higher and higher. But the discipline is one thing that sticks out the most to me.
How do you feel like the defense is doing? Do you feel like y'all are improving still? And what are y'all hoping to improve on this week and the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I definitely think we're improving. I mean, our best game has yet to come. Like, we still, we'll play maybe 2 quarters out some games, 3 quarters out some games, but we'll always end up shooting ourselves in the foot. A big focus is getting off the field on 3rd down. And we'll have the quarterback hemmed up. We'll make a good play. And by the end of the play, we'll have a penalty that'll set us back. So us not shooting ourselves in the foot, that'll have us playing, like, flying around, playing great football.
Coach, is an intense guy. Do you feel like you have to match his intensity for the rest of that game?
Definitely. And I feel like myself, I'm an intense guy as well. So that just comes naturally for me. But matching that intensity in practice just makes the game way easier.